Are we on, by the way, or is this
Yeah,
pre-show?
we're on. Let's just make this the show.
Okay.
Let's just go.
Cool.
You guys in chat, you guys ready for us to just go? Let's
go.
I mean, Chris might even include that in the episode. We can do whatever we want. This is our thing.
I like it. Let's go.
Just as a precursor, this V0 thing is, I showed this to you, but I'll just show everybody. I think this is the coolest. I just think this is the coolest thing. In terms of prototyping, V0 is a game changer. So we've been wanting to redo the create episode UI for a long time. And so this is what that page looks like right now. It's quite long. There's a lot of fields. We want to simplify it. And we also want to set up things for the future, like being able to automatically recommend titles and show notes if people have the AI transcription add-on enabled. And so we talk, all we do is talk. And then, V0 has now allowed me to say, I'm just going to build a prototype of this right now. This is what blows my mind is I gave it a prompt, which is help me to reimagine this page for simplicity, better flow, and better UX. So this is...
So you screenshotted your current one.
Screenshotted my current one. I also gave him the HTML. And then this is the crazy part. Let's actually move audio file upload above episode title, which, by the way, that alone, just being able to see that and go, that's definitely where it should be, is a big game changer. And before I would be editing the DOM and, messing around with this and moving it around and whatever. But
yeah, it's so that's the thing is these product ideas or UI ideas, you could say them, you could think about them.
Yeah.
But you don't know if it's correct until you see it on the page. And in the earlier days, it was, all right, now I got to rework this HTML, this layout just to see the idea.
Yes.
Here's
what blows my mind, though. I add this. I'd like to add a functionality where the audio file is uploaded and it's automatically transcribed in the background. Based on that transcription, suggest an episode title and show notes for the episode. The fact that this worked the first time and in a way that instantly is kind of the paradigm I wanted to use is freaking crazy. So you selected
it's a sentence, 2 sentences you gave it.
Select an MP3. So first of all, the uploader works. Upload complete, just a really nice UI. Generating episode suggestions. This is wild that it just did this. And watch, AI suggestions. There's a few things that need to be edited here. It's whatever, but use these suggestions. Done. So this one incredibly important feature that we've been talking about and thinking about how we might implement it, to have a working prototype that, of course, we would have to figure this out on our own end. This isn't in our infrastructure or scaled or tested or anything else. But the fact that I could build this and show it to people and say, look at this interaction, look at how it looks and feels and works. Look at the organization of the page.
I think what's interesting about user interface design with AI and LLMs is that this is where one of the, you know how LLMs are trained on the most commonly seen patterns in the world, right? That's really beneficial when it comes to UI. Really good UI is sort of leveraging what users expect to see, commonly, commonly seen, commonly known interfaces that just feel obvious to a first-time user.
Yeah.
And that's why two sentences of just describing basically what you want and not giving it, crazy detail. The LLM is just got it. You probably want something like this, which is a very common pattern, and that's that means you're gonna end up with a good interface because that's what that's quality user experience.
Exactly. Yeah. And now in V0, I've like done no exploration in V0, but I just realized you can create your own design system, like define your own design system there for it to follow, and then you can select that thing. And so I'm going to just customize it so it uses Transistor's existing UI paradigms. And, now all of the prototypes I create will look and feel like Transistor even.
Yeah, I love it.
How
does your team feel about this new workflow for
I don't
you?
know. That's a good. If they're watching, they should tell me in chat.
I was also kind of curious about your team. So obviously, there's John. Who else would be involved in this, like redesigning the episode screen?
It'll be primarily, I think, this project. I mean, everybody contributed when we were on our retreat. Everybody contributed to feedback and like notes and even doing some mock-ups and stuff. But I think the primary group would be myself and John and Jason and John would be primarily responsible. So like, when it was
John is like full stack, sort of like everything CTO.
That's right. Yeah.
But I'm not really familiar with Jason. Is he more front end or back end?
More back end. Yeah. And then Josh,
and you're sort of like more like the front end design person.
I mean, in the sense that in the old days when it was just John and I would mock things up using just HTML and CSS, and then I would throw those over to John, and then he would, or John, I would just communicate the idea or the vision, and then John would just build it.
John would take it, yeah.
So there's always been, sometimes I'll do more, sometimes I'll do less.
Cool.
But that's generally how it's worked so far. Yeah.
Very nice. Tight ship.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, but the other thing about that's got the thing that has me thinking about AI, I want to recommend a podcast, Cheeky Pint, with John Collison, the co-founder of Stripe. Hosted
Is that a
on
YouTube
Transistor.
thing? I think I saw him doing a YouTube thing. Maybe
It's also an audio podcast. It's very good. This Des Trainer episode, I think, should be required listening for everybody in products.
Interesting.
I just listened to Toby's episode, the founder of Shopify.
Are they talking business? Are they talking product?
Business
Everything.
and product. And what's good about it is John Collison has the ability to ask them basically about anything, and they respond. So, like, offhand, he asks Des Trainer because now Intercom has pivoted to being an AI focused company. And offhand, John says, well, how much revenue are you doing now in this new paradigm? And Des Trainer tells him.
That's so. I got to tune into this. I did see clips of it pop up on my YouTube feed, but it's so. I've always been, like so many of us, I've been such a longtime fan of great interviews and great interviewers. Like one of my first. I think Andrew Warner is one of the all-time greats in our industry, and even outside of that, like I've always been a fan of like, I don't know, like Howard Stern and Lex Friedman and like just really great interviewers, right?
Yeah.
But one aspect of what makes a great interviewer or interview show, like another big favorite is Mark Maron with WTF, which is ending, I think, this month. One of the things that makes a great interview and a great interview show is the credibility or the position of the interviewer, right?
Yeah.
Like I might know how to ask the best questions in the world, but if I don't have this rapport or this standing with the person that I'm interviewing, the way that Collison does with his guests, you know,
it's huge. And what comes out of it, like even this segment here. So John asks Des, what are your other pet peeves when it comes to product marketing? Actually, do you want another pint? That's funny because they drink a pint while they're doing it.
Yeah.
And it's what comes out is just this raw, unfiltered authority on a topic. Like these guys are not bullshitting. They're not giving corporate speak. It's just like, this is the way it is. Let's talk about that. And further down, he goes, what kind of person succeeds in product at Intercom? And by the way, you can I'll paste this into our show notes here, right at this point in the transcript. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's deep links to these things here.
This is really one of the magic things about podcasting in general. And again, it's this interview format, but it's not like just anyone can do it. It's like you can really catch lightning in a bottle when you get usually two like just really credible high level people just talking like it's just the two of them talking, but it happens to be recorded. I mean, like another one that a favorite of mine right now on YouTube is LeBron James and Steve Nash.
Oh yeah.
You know, they've been doing, and before Steve Nash, it was JJ Redick. He took the Lakers coaching job, so Steve Nash took his place. We're talking about like two all-time great NBA players interviewing each other, and they're talking like the most technical basketball conversation. Like, I'm a lifelong basketball fan. I can't understand half of what they're talking about. Like, they go deep, you know, but it's just like fascinating, you know?
Yeah, this looks. I love stuff like this, especially when it's done. Like so much branded content, or honestly, podcasts by CEOs are absolutely terrible because they're too safe. They're so boring. I want to hear raw, unfiltered, but authoritative, like folks that know what they're talking about, and they are allowed to just speak freely.
Yeah,
that is the best. That's what made Steve Jobs such a compelling figure, is that even compared to Bill Gates was always a little bit more careful. And you could just tell, like, if Steve Jobs was annoyed, you could tell he was annoyed.
Excited to tell you about why he's annoyed.
Yeah.
You know?
And there's something about that that's so great.
I mean, just like one more example, like I'm a huge fan of the Smartless podcast, just like so many other people in the world. Like, why does this show actually work? It's because it's three Hollywood people, just the three of them. Their chemistry is fantastic on air, and then they have a fourth, and we're talking about like Hollywood people, musicians, comedians, but they're just talking shop. And we never get to see. We only get to see them in the TV shows and movies that they're in. We never, or if they're like promoting their show, obviously that's fake, and they're just doing junkets and stuff.
Yeah.
But when they're just talking on the Smartless podcast, they're bullshitting. They're having fun. They're talking about the business. It's fantastic, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But to transition, now that Sora 2 is out, none of us are going to be doing any of this anymore.
I think this is fascinating. I don't know. Have you joined it? Have you been on it?
I just took your invite code you gave me, and I joined. I've. What's funny?
There I am as a '90s gangster.
Oh, there's
rapper.
you right there. This is awesome. Hold on, I gotta watch this.
Oh yeah.
It's so great.
Okay, so that's me, like jumping out of a helicopter, snowboarding down some mountain. By the way, I sent that video to my three friends who I go out to Whistler with.
Yeah.
I was like, "Hey guys, I've been practicing on the off season. Get ready." Yeah. I think that this Sora app is fascinating on so many levels. Like I really honestly think it's one of these things that we're all going to look at and be like, this is silly. This is going to come and go. But I think my prediction, we're going to look back on this and it's going to be like the next TikTok, bigger than the next TikTok. Like,
yeah,
massive. I just think that, okay, so I got an invite from a friend, Charles, and so I started making some videos. Obviously, the tech, the AI model for video generation is better than it's ever been. It's really, really accurate. But what is fascinating to me is how interesting and engaging it is for each individual person who is using it. So I also sent an invite to my wife, Amy, and she's been making videos, and then we're able to tag each other and create videos of like the two of us in these like random situations, right? Because you can have, they call it a cameo, and you can like allow certain people to put you in their videos with permission and stuff. But and like she's not even a big social media person, right? Like barely uses it. But this, it's like we have fun with it together. It's a hilarious thing to see these weird videos that it's just interesting to see how engaged each individual person is to see themselves create a video.
Yeah.
Right. I think that the big unlock that this app is going to have, I think, on the world, on social media, is that it does turn everyone into a creator, whereas before it was only 1% can actually create, and the 99% sort of just flip TikTok and consume. Now it's everyone creates, and it's not just like everyone, like the big headline you see everywhere is like, this is AI slop, and it is, right? Like it's nonsense, but the key is that every person can put themselves in a video. Everyone wants to see themselves in these ridiculous situations. Like I made one, put me as a 90s gangster rapper, like it's just, and that's hilarious, and I'm going to sit there for 3 minutes waiting for the thing to generate because I can't wait to see how stupid this looks. I just think, and like the amount of engagement and then the social aspect of it, right? Like me sending a video to my friends and laughing about it together. It's fascinating. Like this is a good one right here. There's a thing happening here.
The basketball one right here.
That's me dunking and banging my head on the rim as a New York Knick in Madison Square Garden.
Okay, I've got 3 questions / observations. Observation number 1 is people are already gaming that homepage. Like there's one repeatedly of Sam Altman going something like double clicking on this thing does nothing, which people then double click on it. I'm guessing it hearts that thing, and then that video becomes popular in the algorithm.
Yeah.
So I found actually the homepage, like my first experience as a user, the homepage kind of sucked. It was just like a bunch of the same kind of stuff, not compelling.
That's another really interesting aspect to this.
Yes.
Because I'm reading this Verge article about Sora 2 yesterday, and I think what OpenAI set out to do was to try to create another TikTok with that home screen and the social feed and hearting and all that. But I think what they're quickly learning, and I'm absolutely seeing this in my own usage patterns, is nobody even wants to touch the home screen. They only care about generating videos as drafts that are private and just sharing them directly with friends, right? So I think on my personal feed, if you go to my profile, I think I've only published like 2 or 3 videos.
Yeah, there's only 3. Yeah.
But I have made like 10.
Got it.
And like 7 of them I only share with my brother or my friend or Amy,
Here's my second question. It feels like in the past, the usage patterns of this has followed a very sharp curve up and then down. So it's like the anime thing, everyone was making those anime videos for a while, putting themselves in studio. Is it Ghibli? Ghibli?
Right.
Everyone was doing that, Studio Ghibli anime videos and comics, and then it dies down. I mean, there's other things too. Like for a while, everyone was making AI headshots of themselves.
Right.
It feels like the usage pattern is always, oh, look at this. And then the market gets saturated with it. And then people go, okay, like, no, I'm done.
I think that could be true. Although this seems different and more compelling. Like the Ghibli thing, like I saw that happening, but it was just never interesting to me. So I never even did it myself. Right.
Yeah.
But this is like, this is still sort of silly and dumb. Like, I'm not going to create a new YouTube channel off of my Sora videos or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm not necessarily trying to create a following on Sora. But the engagement, it's like, I'm just fascinated with like how engaged me and my friends that I show these videos to are. Like they,
Yeah.
the social aspect of this, and I think it's going to be a new. I'm really bullish on this because I think it's going to be a new form of social media.
This whole
Like, I think that they set out to try to create TikTok, but I think they're stumbling on something else. This is not going to be TikTok. This is going to be. I sort of like the idea of like smaller, self-contained social net. Like, it's a way to have fun with your actual friends and family with these videos. Because I think that most people are not going to. The thing with Sam Altman is that like he made himself available for anyone to cameo him into these videos. I think probably 99% of people are not going to make themselves available to just anyone.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
I have seen some of these South Park ones too. Those ones are actually interesting because it's very difficult for me to distinguish between a
real
clip
one
from Sora and a real South Park clip.
And that's how they're going to try to monetize this, right? Like they're already trying to, because they basically try to prevent you from creating any content that could use a real brand or a real like celebrity person, like like I've tried several times to do like me in a Seinfeld episode, and that's like a trademark that they can't do it.
Yeah.
But they are trying to make these deals with brands and IP owners to like allow people to make whatever, like a Mickey Mouse thing, but they can have more control over like, all right, always allow Mickey Mouse to be used in these situations, but not those.
Yes, yeah. Okay, two more things. The last one, which I think will bring us into another thing you wanted to discuss, which was our kids and technology and entrepreneurship and other things. As an aside to this, I do think, and someone's probably working on this, but I'll call it here in case no one has. I think someone's going to come up with some sort of overlay QR code, probably not QR code, but something that is able to distinguish like authentic human. And you'll put the overlay like down in your video on the lower right, and it will be a way of distinguishing like this is for real. Like this was actually filmed and this is authentic human. Yeah. And I think people will start to look for whatever this badge is. It'll be like, Creative Commons has that logo. Yeah. It'll be something like that, authentic human, because I think the backlash to this.
If somebody can develop that.
Yeah.
Like, Sora puts the watermark on it, and there's already plenty of tools that can just strip it out,
That's right. And something that is like a way of cryptographically or something saying, yes, like we know that this video is authentic somehow. That's a difficult technical problem, but actually I'd be interested in chat if anyone's heard of anyone working on this. But
what's actually kind of funny, speaking of kids, my 11-year-old, she has this thing now where like she always says that like, oh yeah, that video I saw, that was AI generated. Or that thing I see on YouTube, yeah, that was AI. She sort of like says that about everything, and I'm like, how do you know that that's AI? Because it looks pretty real to me, And like I think half the time she's probably right, and half the time she's sort of just assuming that most things are AI. Which is interesting.
I mean, now honestly, it's kind of ruins a lot of the internet for me, because I'll be scrolling on Reddit and I'll see a video clip and I'll be like, is this real?
I know.
And so
that's how I think of it too.
That constant feeling of, is this real? Like, I don't know. I don't know if this is real anymore. And there is a disappointment that I think people feel, and we see it in our kids, which is, they'll be like, oh, that's just whatever. And it's like, man, that is.
I wonder if there's going to be something, I don't know what it would be, but something that people figure out can absolutely prove that they are real. Like at the time of filming, right? So like there used to be the thing of like, to prove that this happened today, I'll hold up a newspaper of today's homepage of the New York Times, right, to like prove that like this photo was taken, on October 9th, 2025, because I have today's newspaper. I think there maybe like in the future there will be something that we figure out, like if you do this or if you show this, there's no possible way that like AI can generate that. Like, if you see footage of like a president speaking on television, like there's definitely going to come a time like in the very near future where like almost nobody can trust whether that's really the president or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Jeez.
Like that. I think that's the big fear for me, at least, is.
I mean,
like,
already,
but like it's gonna be like that. That's the thing that can really spark some dangerous stuff. Is like world leaders.
In terms of fatigue, that's like just even trying to get some news on. It used to be like if you want to look at like protests in Illinois right now. It used to be that you would see the news story and you'd be like, okay, that's what's happening. But then you would go to Twitter and then you would get a feed of like real citizens on the ground recording shit that was going on, or a live Periscope, and they're recording live. Now, like, we have no idea what's actually happening. Like it, in some ways, it's going to make me rely on kind of more, it's not entirely a bad thing, but more high level, generic mass media, because it's like, who can I trust? Yeah. In this case, I can't trust the person uploading a clip to Reddit anymore.
And that's been my stance on most news as well, is like I tend to lean toward the biggest, most trustworthy, most unbiased institutions. And of course those keep degrading and degrading, like I talked about last time. Like I can't really even read New York Times anymore. I used to trust them the most, and now I'll go to like, I don't know, whatever, like AP or like I don't know, like, but like that's also the thing with social media, especially with like news and current events and like scary world events, right? Like if I look at Twitter or or Blue Sky, frankly, like both of these places, you're going to see a lot of clips and complaining and anger and activism.
Yeah.
And of course, a lot of this stuff is real. There's a lot of bad shit happening in the world.
Yeah.
But whenever I look at these feeds, I can't look at it and be like, well, I'm seeing all these posts. It must be rampant. It must be everywhere. Or it's just a few people who are angry on Twitter and they're amplifying it in a way that's like actually distorting what's the real reality of what's actually happening out there.
Yeah. I mean, imagine like the pivotal moment for Twitter was Arab Spring, right? Like, remember that you got all those photos of like, here's what's happening, and people were periscoping the live stuff. That moment is gone. Like that kind of like grassroots, like, wake up world, like here's what's really happening on the ground. That like that brief window where you as a citizen, you could be like, holy shit, like, yeah, the BBC reported on this, but it becomes so much real and visceral once you can see these real people there.
Yeah.
Done. Another thought I just had while Zach was commenting here about that whole thing, you're going to need a passphrase so your family knows it's actually you and not an AI call. I think the other backlash that might happen from this is actually less influencers, because now there's all of this video out there of me. I am infinitely trainable on AI. You are too. Our voices are trainable. Fuck. Like, there's part of me that's thinking people are going to be like, I'm not doing that shit. Like, I'm going to clamp it down more. I'm going to take everything off. Like all my videos off the internet, because I don't want my likeness to be out there and be like, someone could upload something tomorrow and then I have to go on and going, hey, authentic Justin here, like, hello. Like,
I mean, absolutely. I think it's, I think that's real. I've heard people say like we've seen the final batch of like A-list celebrities, human celebrities. There's not going to be a next generation of them, right? Because they're just going to be replaced with like AI personalities that we see in You know?
Yeah.
I don't know how I don't know how much I totally buy that, but
Well, I like
There's gonna be
personally,
a
I can see
mix
the
of-
attraction because, Emmett was saying, we'll all have pen names. Yeah, not just pen names, but we'll all have multiple AI avatars. Like, here's who I am on YouTube. It's just I could be anyone. I could be a mech warrior that talks about politics. That's way safer in so many ways than having my real likeness.
there is, I mean, even right now, just in this, I'm sure this is going to evolve in all sorts of scary ways, but right now, like, I could look at the official Justin Jackson YouTube channel, and I know that you personally are only going to post things that you want to post. So when there's like the Justin Jackson 2 YouTube channel, it's like obviously fake, right? Like, and we see that. I get tricked by that all the time on YouTube. It's like I think I'm pulling up an ESPN clip or something, and it's like, and it's not actually the official channel, right? So I guess I guess at least that's one layer of like authenticity, is like, if it's coming from the official verified channel or whatever.
Yeah. I think there will also be demand for, in addition to this like kind of verified human overlay, there's going to be so much more demand for like just the verified profiles and having even a central, maybe blockchain version of my verified thing where I can say, these are the verified places I speak, and anything that's not signed cryptographically with this is not me. And and putting massive pressure on the platforms to remove. I mean, like someone could start a OnlyFans with my likeness, right?
It can blow up.
I'm not saying anyone should do this, but that's going to be a problem. Like, all of a sudden you're going to have, Justin Jackson feet pics on, and it's like that it's already like
And it's also going to become like so rampant that like whatever, like people can sue, like it'll be so far beyond the reach of just basic lawsuits. Like right now, you'll see things like celebrities like suing OpenAI for creating voices that sound remotely close to someone's voice.
Yeah.
But eventually, there's going to be so many companies that have the capability to generate any voice or any likeness. You can't just sue everyone in the world. Like it'll be beyond the reach, right? So
yeah.
But anyway, we figured it out with the blockchain. So yeah,
I mean,
fixed it.
Junta's like, you got to stop saying these things to the internet and tempting fate. I'm saying this shit so that smart people like Junta and everyone else in chat solve the problem. Listen, John and I solved podcast hosting. Can you guys just go and solve out all these existential threats to?
We just gave you the whole roadmap right here. So Go ahead.
One final thing that I think will get us into our chat about kids, because I stressed out about this too. So I've said that I have my son is taking art fundamentals right now, hoping to get into animation. My next youngest,
my daughter's into that too.
My next youngest son is also really into animation and making movies and everything. And it is scary. So I'm on this Framer email newsletter, and he's like, just tested a new storyboard collage trick on Sora 2. I'm blown away by the results. You click through on, where do I do this? I think it's on Twitter. Yeah. So what was interesting to me about this is he's demoing this. These animations look pretty good. Oh, you can't see it. Sorry. How come you can't see that?
I see your email.
Yeah, sorry. I clicked through on the here. I want to show you the Twitter thing that he's sending. So this example of how this storyboarding thing actually works and what kinds of products can get created from it, pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean that's like a show my kids watch.
It looked, and he's got multiple examples of this, right? Like different examples of different scenes that are being created, and being able to keep the same characters consistent throughout, being able to reuse characters in, and I think what he's doing here is he's showing these initial shots, kind of set it up, and then that's how you get the consistency with these close-up shots and everything like that. It is, I'm interested to hear what you think, but I'm a little bit further ahead than you because my kids are older. The thing that's resonating in my brain is the recent college grads I talked to who went through comp sci say, I wish ChatGPT hadn't been around so that I could have learned to do things the hard way, because now I'm lazy. I haven't been able to create those pathways. I just overly depend on ChatGPT. I don't really have a fundamental understanding of how it works because I haven't spent the time typing it and doing it. And I worry about that. And it's interesting to see my kids, like my son who's in art fundamentals right now, he's working his ass off, like drawing, like it is the hardest, most disciplined, like you have to spend, his instructors basically say, you have to spend 3 hours of extra time a day on top of your classes just doing deliberate practice. Going to like live model drawings, like it is thousands and thousands of hours to even become relatively good at drawing. And that is still true. So part of me is like advising my kids, you do need to do things the hard way, and it's almost more important now. Like you need to shut off all this shit for a while and just focus on the deliberate practice. On the other hand, I also want to tell them, like, I didn't send this to my son, but I also want to be like, dude, we also have to be thinking about this. This is real. This is for sure by the time you graduate, animation studios are going to be using this.
Yeah, they're using it now. I think that every creative industry, this is not even new to the AI era. This was new 20 years ago.
Yeah.
If you like, I think that every educational institution, when it comes to creative industries and training creative professionals, the educational institutions are always behind the 8 ball of what's happening in the industry. We've seen that for decades in tech, right? You cannot go to, I don't know what they're teaching in schools today, but when I was in college years, like what, 25 years ago, 20 years ago, I think, so like, I think at that time, like CSS was probably the new thing coming around, like Zeldman and and like breaking away from table-based layouts. That's sort of what was happening right when I was entering the web design industry. College universities were nowhere near that. They were maybe using like Dreamweaver. Like they were 5 years behind that.
Yeah.
Right. I think the same could be said about audio production, audio engineering. The same could be said about video production, animation, art. So they're always behind, like technically they're always behind what's happening in the professional creative industry. That's number one. Number two, I don't really know that many people who have gone to like art school and get art degrees. And thanks to the art degree, they became well-paid professional artists.
Yes.
Artists and creative and even just creative professionals, like people in our industry and like you get really good because you freaking love it and you put in all those 10,000 hours because you can't help but not. You work 80 hours a week because it doesn't feel like work to you.
I think the messaging is still important, and I'm actually having, you know what is interesting is I've reversed on this because that whole idea of like, man, education's so far behind and they're teaching all this old shit that doesn't matter anymore. Now I'm almost like, actually, if I was a university, I would be saying, hey, everybody, we teach you how to do things the old way. Like, let's teach people how to do old style letterpress and old style. Why?
Yeah,
because
I would want to, if I were to like pay for education, for knowing what I know now in the industry, I think creative institutions, like educational institutions, should focus a little bit less on trying to train you on the current tech in their creative industry. And they should focus more on, like you said, history, like how to try to like fill in the history of how we came to CSS or how we came to the style of animation, and just like give me like a crash course on like understanding where we came from so that I know where I am today. That's number one. And number two, just teach the business. Like teach some basic business skills. Like what has always pissed me off is how, these really expensive fine arts degrees are doing nothing to help kids understand how to actually make a living in life.
Yeah, I agree with those two. But the third one that I actually think is the most important right now is school is the one place where you can force kids to do deliberate practice. Like maybe they even need to be saying, you know what, screw these lectures. They can get that later. I've got you for a 2-hour block. I'm going to force all of you to sit down and write an essay while I watch. Or I'm going to force all of you kids to sit down and just practice drawing squares for a couple hours, because deliberate practice is the hardest thing to do in life.
I think I have a different view on that point, and that is, if you need to be forced to practice, you're not going to make it.
Here's the thing. In the old days when you had mentors or you were an apprentice, you might have had a passion for woodworking or a passion for cabinet making or whatever else. I even look at my kids. They got lots of passion. But the role of a good coach, or even my son is in football now. This is a good example. So my son wants to play football. He's got the energy and the passion. He's just like, yeah, get me in there. But you need to refine that energy through deliberate practice. The only person that can make him practice deliberately the way that he needs to be, because he doesn't even know how to practice, is his coach. His coach goes, we are going to run these drills over and over and over again. Well, coach, I don't want to. I just want to run and, tackle people. No. We're going to run drills because I'm in a position where I can basically make you guys practice in this way.
Okay, but I actually don't see that as the role of a great coach. Of course, a basketball coach is going to have you run drills and stuff, but but it's a great basketball coach, or any coach, is not going to make their team great because they force them to run a lot of drills. It's because they gave them the right strategy, right? And so I think that because the best players, they love running drills, because they just excel at it. It's so easy for them. It's so the best players in any creative pursuit or any athletic or business or anything, they just do it because they have to. It's part of them. The hard part for young people and old people too is you need mentors. You need strategists. You need to be sort of course corrected, or
but part of
help you figure out what's a waste of time and what should I be focusing on.
Part of mentorship is just, here's another example. I took English AP in grade 10, 11, 12. And grade 11, 12, I had the same teacher. And she literally got us to write probably 100 essays both years. We'd come into class. She'd okay, I reviewed your essays. Here's what you guys need to work on. Write another one right now. We wrote so many essays over and over and over again. And I hated it. I absolutely hated it. Once I got out, get into college, get into my first college class, I could run circles around other people when it came to writing.
Yeah.
Even to this day, if you say, if you compare, honestly, me to even my kids sometimes, I'm like, just sit down and write the freaking essay. They're like, I can't. There's so much I could do that in my sleep. Why? Because I was forced to do deliberate practice. Do I love writing? Absolutely.
But I think part of that is, yes, someone was telling you to it, but you also did it. You didn't just because someone was telling you to doesn't mean that you had
because
to
I would have got kicked
it.
out of English AP if I didn't. There is something, I agree. There's, Wayne Gretzky just put in lots of extra hours of practice because he loved it. And that could be true as well.
Because they're driven by something else.
It's not. It doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you just have somebody who's way more advanced than you, who's a guru, a mentor, a coach, a teacher, who's looking at you and all your raw, naive energy, and going, "I know that you just want to. I know you think you're a good writer right now, but actually, the strategy you need is I'm going to make you write an essay." And the strategy you're going to make, this also happened with me with public speaking.
There's definitely a value to what you're talking about, but I just think that at the end of the day, the best people who get ahead find their path to getting ahead, right? And like the other thing, the other angle that you could look at is like drills and practicing the way that it's always done.
Mm-hmm.
It might help you build some muscle, might help you build some stamina, but it's not going to help you build your voice or your style.
That comes later,
or your differentiator. You know,
that comes later though. Like that's like, again, there are cases where individuals just have the drive to do all of this on their own. But I think what's more likely is let's take public speaking, for example. I love public speaking today. I think I'm pretty good at it, actually. The way I got there is I grew up in church, and to give a talk in church, you have to practice. So you work with a mentor, and they make you practice that talk over and over and over again. And I had the mentorship of someone. I always said, "This talk's ready," and they said, "Okay, do it for me." And I'd do it, and they're like, "It's not ready, man. Like, here's some notes. Go back and then come back, and we'll practice again." Practice. Then, once I was in my 30s and I started getting opportunities to give tech talks, then that's when my passion can build on all of that deliberate practice. But if it was just up to me as a teenager or a 20-something to put in the actual work and build that muscle, I don't think I would have done it in the same way. Sometimes you just trip into it and you're so passionate about it that you just do it on your own. But I've seen how good coaching and mentorship can take somebody, especially when they're young, and push them to practice way beyond what they would normally do. And there's something helpful about that.
I think I sort of agree with you, like that. I definitely see the role of a great coach, but I also just think that, like, in general, what's the famous thing from Seinfeld? Like he was brought into some college or high school class on either public speaking or acting and a bunch of, it was like a class, or it might have been like how to become a comedian type of class. And they brought him in to speak, and like, what's the secret to becoming a comedian? And he was just like, "I'm sorry, if you're sitting in this class, you're not going to become a comedian." Because professional comedians don't go to a class to become a comedian. You know?
Yeah. I mean, there's counterfactuals to that. Like there are, if you listen to Mark Maron long enough, there's comedians who took comedy classes, and they're like, "I know I'm not supposed to admit this, but I took a bunch of comedy classes." Yeah. And, you know,
I think that it's like the coaching can happen, classes can happen. You can go to school for the thing and you end up being successful. But ultimately, to me, like the people who actually end up being successful, even if they went to a class or two, or even if they had the coach, at the end of the day, it was themselves that figured out how to excel, how to jump past the rest of the pack. And the only way you do that is by creating a lot of stuff on your own and driving yourself.
Yeah, you know? I'm just saying, I think behind those stories, even Wayne Gretzky had a father that was really pushing him. And so on one hand, it's like, wow, Wayne Gretzky just on his own.
That's what I mean. Is like there's some deeper driver, especially for athletes. There's a lot of like I'm driven to prove myself, or
yes,
or
but also
the doubters, right? Like
yes, but also a dad that's waking up and waking you up and making sure you get to practice. You know, like there's the idea is that I don't think there's a pure form of this self-bootstrapped passion that leads to the discipline all on its own. If it does, that is so incredibly rare. I agree. I mean, of course, I see it like my kids. Like, I want to, like, I definitely. It is definitely like when you're growing up, and like you do need to have coaches, parents, like teach discipline and teach. The value of putting in hard work, of course. But I just ultimately think at some point, I think part of it is like buying into the coaching, buying into the hard work, right? Like, because you can be drilled again and again and again, but it's like if somebody's gonna have you run 100 drills of whatever. The first 50 are going to just feel like a slog no matter who you are. And the second 50, the real players come out. Yeah.
Because half the pack is just going to be like, this is so terrible, I have to quit. and then the real players are just going to keep going with the drills and keep and sort of want to be coached even more. You know what I mean?
And that part is like that. As a parent, I think that's actually the hardest part. Is the other part that I'm struggling with as a parent is like if you I'm oldest of 4 kids, and I would say the 2 older of us, we both were way more kind of entrepreneurial and, you know, whatever. And then the younger 2 are still very self-actualized people, but less entrepreneurial, less on that side. And I think there is part of, you know, as I want good things for my kids, I'm also trying to be careful that I'm not saying like you have to be this magical entrepreneurial success, because obviously this is, you know, even of 1,000 good people that are passionate about entrepreneurship and are quite skilled and etc. Out of 1,000, maybe, I don't know, 100 might build a business that actually is significant, and then even a smaller percentage would build something that's big. It's just like your odds are better than the NBA, but it's still, and this is the other thing that is worrisome about AI is like our world needs jobs. Our world needs just like regular jobs that people can go in, and if they're good, strong, skilled, self-actualized people who just don't want to be entrepreneurs, there needs to be something for those people to do.
Yeah. I think it's hard for me to know. Obviously, your kids are older than mine. So mine are 9 and 11, and yours are in high school and college. And so I don't really know what to expect at that age in terms of relationship and mentoring and helping them navigate life and all that kind of stuff. But I do find that it's like a little bit hard to relate to know when. I think that like. And I just see this like with people that I know from all walks of life, all stages of life. You know, it's like people become motivated. I feel like that, like motivating factors, whether it's motivated to start a business or motivated to do well in some other career, or, you know, I feel like motivation changes over time.
Yeah.
And no one person can know A, what motivates another person really deep down, and B, when motivation is going to strike.
I know.
You know,
as a parent, that's really so frustrating, because you just desperately want to be able to, if you could orchestrate it, you would, you know, and it's that's the hardest thing about being a parent is
I think it even like just outside of like the parenting thing, but just like, because, you know, we just see it with like people in our industry trying to spew advice to other people in our industry. That's what always gets to me, is like nobody could possibly know what is motivating other people and where they're actually coming from. And one thing I'm continuously learning myself, but also sort of just amazed to think about how influenced I've been. Like, this is something, I don't know, here in my 40s that I think a lot about now, about like where I'm at in my career and my work and my business, and how much, like what exactly were the most influencing factors for me that led me to the decisions that I made and to the motivations that brought me to doing this business versus that business, or selling or not selling, or doing this or that, right? Like I can just look back at like a string of like, you know, sort of like influential moments or influential people who entered or left and re-entered my life at different times. And so if I look at other people in our industry who might on the surface seem like they're so similar to us, like somebody who does exactly what I do, right? Like maybe they're in a similar type of job, type of business, but their last 20 years still have so many different influencing factors, different people, different mastermind groups. They went to different conferences. They come from a different place in the world.
Yeah.
They come from a different family, like, or their experience with business A was different than my business A, so their business B is going to be very different from my business B, and they're going to make different decisions off of that. I just there's just so many different factors that like it's so hard to sort of like that. That's the thing with advice. Like I could share what has worked for me or what I think makes sense in my mind, but there's no possible way for me to know how my advice will land with you. You know, I can't.
That's why I do think sharing stories is helpful. I mentioned to you beforehand, I was just reading Tony Din's newest newsletter.
Yeah, tell me about that.
I highly recommend this, getting on his newsletter. I mean, I think folks will be familiar with him. I feel
like I've seen the name, but I haven't really followed him until you sent it today.
He's the guy. There was like, before Elon took over Twitter, there was like this kind of eruption of indie hacker content, and a lot of it was garbage. But Tony was one of these people that was like, hey, I think he's from Vietnam, and he was just like, he was working in public and sharing kind of what he was doing. And he built this app called Typing Mind, which I purchased at one point. And he is
crazy.
He is doing incredible. So I remember him talking about the early revenue for it, and I was like, even though it was $3,000 a month and $5,000, now it's making $130,000 to $160,000 a month. And now
that's unreal.
A lot of these are one-time purchases, but now the recurring revenue from the B2B team version has exceeded 50% of monthly revenue. So let's just say this is 70,000 to 80,000 MRR business, like actual recurring revenue. But
yeah, so for listeners, I was just looking at this today, sort of for the first time. I might have seen it around before this, but like, okay, so this product, Typing Mind, it's sort of like an interface for chatting with all the tools at once, right? Like, you can chat with OpenAI, you can chat with Anthropic, you know, in one interface.
Yes,
it's got a bunch of other like power features and stuff built into it.
Yeah, the best chat for UI for all AI models. Yeah,
and so I guess on the consumer side, or like the individual user side, he's selling it as a one-time lifetime fee, starting at $39, like up to $99, which is like, if you're thinking about these as like one time and you get lifetime access, that's how do you make a business on that? And then
because ChatGPT is an $800 million MRR business. The TAM is just massive,
crazy volume. And then I guess he has this Teams side, which is the SaaS version, which is, I don't know, what, like $100 a month, up to like $200 a month per user, or something like that.
How do you get to the team stuff here? Okay, so where's
I didn't even see it at first.
Where's the pricing here? Okay, he's got a whole other thing.
It's like a whole other site somewhere.
Okay, $83 a month, $166 a month. Oh, that's, so it's $99, $199, $299 per month. Yeah.
And I think there's a free version. Like, you can just start using it.
There's a free trial.
Logging in, I think.
14-day free trial on the Teams version. And then, oh, sorry, I wasn't sharing my screen. 14-day free trial on the team version. And then on the
individual one, if you just like sort of close out of the sales page, you can just start using it, I think.
Okay. Let's just see here. So I can just start new chat. Oh yeah, it's right down here. Yeah.
Like it won't say, like you're not logged in.
What is the best podcast about bootstrapping with the word panel in the title? Okay, it asks me to enter an OpenAI key. Yeah.
Anyway, like, so you've been following him since like the beginning of this business, probably?
Yeah, I think it was even before. He had this product called Black Magic that I think was like a kind of a Twitter posting tool.
Oh, okay. This is that guy.
Yeah. And so he got that up to $5,000 a month in 2022. I mean, this is something else that came out.
Interesting. Okay, so I saw that Black Magic thing floating around, and people were excited about it, and I sort of haven't followed him since. And so he got that up to $5K a month, and I guess it we've sort of seen those sort of like fade away into the ether. Right?
I think he sold that one. Yeah.
Okay, so he sold that one off, and now his next one was a smash hit. Essentially.
Yes. And I think this is also what is instructive about all of this, and I think is actually should be very encouraging to you. And this also came up in the conversation between Des Traynor and John Collison, is just how fast these AI businesses can grow. Like they were talking about, I can't remember which company it was now. They were just like, this is a 2-year-old company and they're already doing like 100 million in revenue, you know, like they're like, this used to be like, you would go public at 100 million in the old days, you know?
But even this one, this bootstrapped one, Tony did, like, to be at 150K a month, he must have started this in what, 2022, 23?
2023. Yeah. So in
2 years.
2 years. Yeah. Like at this rate, he will pass Transistor for sure in the next couple of years. Like that is wild to me. Like in this short little window, it's.
So my question on like looking at this business again, I haven't really been following him. Where does so it's hard to accept the simple premise that like building around the space of AI is your ticket to 150K into a month. Like just that alone can't be it. Like what is the distribution? How do you get that high of volume?
Yeah. Well, he says
like,
he
I
doesn't
can see how it's solving an important problem that people like. That's got to be a big part of it, right?
This is
but
wild.
Still, it's like
most of my sales are from word of mouth. I've been attempting other marketing channels from time to time, but so far nothing has worked for me. In my latest paid ad campaign, I've spent $600 so far, resulting in only 2 conversions. I really suck at marketing in general. You're just quoting, but I'm not worried too much about it. I believe that if I can make an exceptionally good product and have a decent initial user base, that might be the actual key. Customers will come naturally. So
I think I just want to say something about that. I think that I think that's probably very true.
Yeah.
What he's saying here. And the little that I know about this product, which I literally was just looking at it today, I think for the first time, what it gets right is it does solve a simple problem in a simple, like people want to compare answers from different models, from different services at the same time. And I guess I could see, I think when he says like it's literally just the value of the product and the word of mouth, like that is literally where word of mouth comes from. Word of mouth only happens if it's genuinely solving a painful problem in a unique way that people just can't help but talk about, right? And I think that's probably true, and I think that's where you get this like lightning in a bottle, like, oh, I don't do any real marketing, it's just word of mouth. Now there definitely is some actual marketing fire that must have happened that people either don't realize is happening or you probably had some Twitter juice in the very early days that helped it get started,
Yeah, I mean, I just asked ChatGPT, how did this thing become so popular? Where's my so it said the perfect timing play, right?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, this is Claude. Mine was built in one day after ChatGPT's API release in March 2023. So he was early. The API came out. He was like, I'm building on this. And he captured that early wave of enthusiasm. And so it does help.
But just to be clear for listeners on that point, like, yes, he had the brilliant timing, but he still got the problem right. Because there were a lot of products at that same time just wrapping ChatGPT.
Yes.
And this one did something a little bit different.
Yeah, the product was actually good. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Bring your own API key was interesting because then he's not paying for tokens. So he figured out business model and like positioning around pricing and value and all that stuff is so important. And he just found this combination that made sense. People pay him for this portal, basically, that allows them to connect to their existing ChatGPT account that they have, use their own tokens, and he's just the interface, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I do think it's still instructive in terms of us. One is just that, yes, having a big market that's increasing and growing and has a large total area is not sufficient. It's necessary but not sufficient. You need other ingredients. But I do think it should be encouraging for you with like you're building. Maybe we could talk about AgentOS now. You're building AgentOS.
I do feel some of that like natural energy for
yes.
sure. Like demand. This is definitely the first real feeling of a wave in a market that I've felt in any of my businesses. So and what it means, what that actually means day to day is like there's a wind at my back. Like I haven't even built half of what I want to actually build in Builder Methods in terms of like what it's going to offer, what the product is going to look like. I'm not even close. Even AgentOS, I just released 2.0 sort of quietly this week. I'm going to do more of a splash next week with a video and stuff. But like, I'm pretty happy with 2.0. But like, it's still like, it's still the beginning.
Yes.
But people are coming in naturally every day. They're coming to the YouTube channel. I am getting those subscribers every day. I'm getting, paying customers for a product that barely even exists already.
Yes.
It's definitely lighting a fire under me to like I constantly feel the urgency of like trying to deliver on this promise every day. There's so many projects that need to get done in order to ship everything.
Yeah. So sorry, did I miss it? Is 2.0 out?
Yes.
Woohoo! Where's
I deployed it 2 nights ago.
All right. I'm going to give you some
Yeah.
of these little clapping emojis here. Oh, I'll give you one of these. Celebrate too. Congrats, man. That's awesome. I'm looking at the site now. Version 2.0 changes. This is live. It's here.
It's live. The only thing I haven't done yet really is record like the official new video, which I'm hoping to record tomorrow and then get published on YouTube next week. And once that is out, I'll do like the actual like, hey, like here's an email broadcast about it and everything. But I did send it to my Discord community for the pro members, and people are finding it on GitHub, and a couple people found it on Twitter. I haven't really tweeted about it, but it's been like, it was a huge lift, huge project to get this out, both AgentOS 2.0 itself and this new doc site that you're looking at.
Yeah.
Like every page on here has gone through multiple iterations of edits to make sure that it's as clear as possible.
By the way, your stuff always looks incredible. Like in terms of it being thought out and complete and well designed, I'm always impressed at how fast, I mean, to you it might not feel fast, but how fast you're able to produce this kind of volume and quantity is crazy.
I appreciate that, man, and it is a little bit crazy to me, like how much I stress over things like font size, and colors, and like how can I make this clear and easy to read? Like you'll see a lot of these pages. I'm just gonna like nerd out on some stuff here. So like if you go to like the installation page,
yes,
like the headlines with the number labels, and then like other ones have like different versions of those labels and the copyable, code snippets, and like
looks so good.
Like to me, like these are like little bells and whistles and stuff, but like as a user, as a customer of a product, this is what I want. I want to just go to the docs and get the information I need quickly and easily. I don't want to like sift through or wonder why half of it is not documented. So I went through multiple rounds of it. And, I heavily used Claude to help me write stuff.
Yes.
But even that, I went through like multiple rewrites and reorganization of stuff.
Dude, this looks great. And so what's your plan now for like getting it out you're going to make the video? Is that just the video is sort of like the final piece of like this big project of getting it out. So I'll get the video out next week. I'll do like a broadcast email. Then it's on to like the next phase of development in Builder Methods, which is, I think. And also I have an October workshop on October 21st. Okay.
Which is going to like also be a deep dive into AgentOS.
Is that on Where can people find out about that?
So click on resources. Yeah, go to workshops.
Okay.
The second one down.
Nice.
Yeah. So even that one, like back to the demand thing, the wave. So this one right now is on sale for $37 a ticket. I've already sold like 30 seats, I think, in it. And that was off of like a one-line mention in last week's newsletter. Nothing else. No tweets. Nothing else. Haven't mentioned it on YouTube. And this is, I think it's either like 25 or 30 purchases of. These are non-pro members because pro members get in for free. Mm-hmm. So it's like there's just this natural.
Well, dude, like I'm going to take this link and I'm going to post it in our team's Slack, and I'm going to say I highly recommend that everybody on the team go to this. Here's the interesting thing about this is, when we talk about pull from the customer, like the customer's pulling for a product instead of you pushing it, this is what I'm talking about. This is one of those circumstances where even think about what I've been thinking about and talking about. I'm like exploring Vercel's V0, and I just downloaded Cursor the other day, and I'm thinking about how we compete. I'm thinking about these short iterative loops. I'm thinking about how I can see the potential for AI and how it could help us develop faster and better and all these things. And now I have this energy and I need to do something with it. And there's this, and I'm not alone in that. Like every software company, agency, bank, government, everyone is like, what do we do with this? Because we don't want to get left behind. And they're looking for somewhere to put this energy. That's where the pull from the market comes, is I'm just looking for opportunities. And I love these workshops for that. It's like a natural place to like put some energy and
like just to go. Like people are just hungry to learn. And I keep getting comments on the YouTube videos and everything. And you'll always get your share of like snarky, annoying, negative YouTube comments, but like there's a lot of just real people who are just consuming as much, professional developers who are just consuming as much content as they possibly could, because it's just a topic that they are hungry to learn, hungry for like what's happening right now, like this month. So
dude,
it feels good to have this like wind at my back. At the same time, I feel like it puts even more pressure on me to act as fast as possible, which is difficult. So I think the next phase now, with AgentOS, like AgentOS took too many. It feels like it took me too many weeks to get it out, but I'm happy that with where it ended up. Now it's on to the next thing, which is doing the workshop. But then I want to develop. I need to really start developing the content for the pro members. So I don't think it's going to be like big courses, really. It's just going to be like a series of training videos, and they might even just be more project based, right? So I am going to be building a bunch of tools using AgentOS.
Cool.
So I think I'm just going to use that as like the material for documented videos. Like you can get all the official AgentOS docs on the website that you just showed for free. But if you really want to get your hands dirty and build some projects and follow along, and like then that's where these like private videos just for the members are going to be. You can watch me build this app. You can watch me build that app. Something that's been developing already in the Discord community is, like we've been talking about this. So like in AgentOS, there's this concept of defining your standards. There's a folder called standards, and that's where I put all of my coding standards for how I want my Rails applications to be designed.
I love that.
I always write Tailwind in this way, and I always have these weird opinions about how stimulus should be done. And so I put all that into my standards, right? Then there's other people in the Discord who are like Python developers. There's other people who are like Laravel developers. And so like everyone's going to start to share their own standards.
That's cool.
And there's gonna be like a channel for Laravel, a channel for Rails, and like so people can just like share these like
Is there a tool or a process for taking an existing code base and saying, can you develop the initial spec from this initial code base? Like there's some good ways to do that?
Yeah, the first core command, if you will, in the using AgentOS is called plan product.
Okay.
So that's like before you even get into planning features, you just plan the product. And what that generates is your product mission statement, your product roadmap, and the tech stack. And that can be done for a brand new product that you're starting up, or you can install AgentOS into your existing product. It's going to analyze your code base.
Dude.
And you can write up the mission, and then you can just update the roadmap to be like, this is where we're at in it.
I'm going to become a pro member today. I'm in. I'm in.
Right,
The other thing is that's great about this is, I flip flop on AI every week. I see I'm existential crisis and see it as a threat and a negative, and then flip to, wow, this is great. But as soon as you get a taste of even what I was showing earlier, like here's how I built a prototype in 30 seconds, and once you get a taste of that, you're like, damn, like I want more of this. I want to get this going in our existing Rails project. I want to get this going in this Laravel project. I've got old apps that I built 5 years ago that need to be fixed. I want to get that. Like you just get this hunger, and yeah, then you're like just looking for somewhere to put that energy. So
yeah, man,
that's awesome.
I'm like excited to like transition into like the next phase of like, because my vision for not only the business but for what I'm doing day to day, is like, I want to be building apps. I want to be building tools, and I want to be creating videos.
Yeah.
That's what I want my job to be, and that's what I want this business model to be built around. Right? And so up until now, spending all this time just on AgentOS, it felt a little bit like, yes, this thing is like core to my business, but I'm not actually able to build real tools because I'm so busy building AgentOS itself. So I have a long list of like small tool ideas that I want to build that I'm also going to use these as projects that I document and make videos for the members on. Yeah. But also things that the business needs, right? So like one thing is like, I have all this content on YouTube. Every YouTube video I do really needs to also be a blog post on the site. Like I really, I should just have a tool that I could just feed a finished YouTube video into, and it just generates a blog post with all the little details that I want on it. Start to get some SEO juice on the site going.
And by the way, that is a perfect kind of place for your natural propensities, which is, I can imagine this thing automatically generates a blog post, but then you could have a productized person that you've hired to come in and like, now I'm like hire somebody to actually make those blog posts great. Like you don't have to do all that work. You could be hiring a human.
AI could also do that.
Well, AI could do it too, but I think there's still going to be AI plus humans is going to be super powerful.
Well, I also think that there's a difference between actual blog posts and more like articles. Like, because the YouTube videos, I script out. I script them out. I basically write an article. I just read it onto the camera. Those are more like informational, educational articles. And then there's like blog posts, which is more like what I write in the newsletter. Because that's the other thing. Is every Friday I send my newsletter for Builder Methods, and there's a personal message from me, and that's just like sort of my current quick opinion about something, and that should be a short blog post on an actual blog, which right now it's only self-contained in the newsletter. So like just little systems I need to start to put into place. There needs to be some email automation on the back end of like after you become a subscriber. Right now I have one automated email, but there's got to be something that promotes AgentOS, something that promotes Builder Methods Pro.
Yeah, dude.
And just trying to assemble these things like one little piece at a time.
Yeah, that's the hard part is like you can feel a wave coming, but you have to paddle out and get it.
Yeah, exactly. What do you got going on your end?
I think we should end on whether or not we could go to a cabin in the woods with no phone or social media. Pascal in the chat just said, is this the support group for people who are too much on their phones?
I mean, Aaron, this is the segment of the show where we're just going to react to whatever Aaron and Ian talked about last week, right? So if you haven't heard it yet, this was one of the all-time great episodes of Mostly Technical. Aaron recapping his vision quest, if you will.
Yeah.
And I really resonated with a lot of his takeaways, especially the creative mindset stuff. And I told him that, but I'm sure I'm not alone in this, in listening to it, and how he was describing how he went to this cabin or whatever with no phone, with no internet, with no computer, and spending multiple multiple nights and I'm convinced that I am incapable of going even just an hour of just me and my thoughts. Can't happen.
Yes.
I need mental stimulation.
I mean,
and I'm a total addict, and that needs to be fixed. So
I think what is so great, I mean, this is what's great about podcasting. This is what's great about working in public, which can really just be, I'm going to engage with the public on a topic. But this, Aaron sharing his experience both in his newsletter and then on the Mostly Technical podcast, this is a force for good in the world. It made me think, it made you think, it made lots of other people think. There's, whether or not everybody goes and does their own vision quest, or whether or not we're just more mindful about all this, I think is the point. And, for myself, I started, definitely when I got off Twitter, that was a big thing. Like, I log in maybe once or twice a month to check my DMs, check Transistor mentions and all that stuff, but not having Twitter on my phone, not having Twitter as a omnipresent tab, right? Like always in my, we were using this as an example before, but like not having it, always on my browser, massive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
see, like that part of it, I feel like I don't have the same pain point that a lot of people express, because I definitely agree that like I've been extremely bored with the content that I see on Twitter. And I don't think that it actually prevents me from like getting a lot of good work done and making my hours count when I'm here in the office. I feel like I'm pretty good at like pushing distractions away, even though I do still check Twitter like quite often throughout the day, but I don't get sucked into it because I get bored with it within a minute.
Yeah.
So I still just come right back to the work.
I do
but
find
the thing that I do resonate with and feel like is the frenetic energy of like, and sort of like the urgency of like, why do I have to keep working so hard on so many projects in such a compressed amount of time? Like I do wish I had a little bit more space to breathe,
Yeah. I mean, I think, we talked about this last episode or the episode before, even, this idea of having a sabbatical, this idea of having some time to, I'm not religious at all anymore, but I've thought like, I've been thinking about going back to church just to sit in a pew and be bored. Like not go on my phone and just be like in this place and just like look at stained glass windows and like being able to stop the fire hose of everything for a moment and just let my brain rest. I can see, why we need that as humans. And I can see why it's helpful to have moments in our week where we have that, and maybe doing it as a retreat. I also think that I've removed all the social media apps from my phone. And what's interesting is it definitely, like I take out my phone, I'm like, oh, nothing here. The problem is I still have Reddit on there. I got to take Reddit off because now I just find myself going to Reddit all the time. So it's like your brain is just looking for like, oh, I can't have Skittles. Well, give me M&Ms. Oh, I can't have M&Ms. Well, give me chips. Oh, I can't have chips. Like we're just like, what's in the pantry? And we look around and then it's like, okay, well, I keep going down in the pantry until I get to raisins, and then I'm eating raisins. But it's like we can limit what we're exposed to, and I do find that helpful.
See, I also treat like checking that stuff as the mental breather, right? So I work on something creative, like difficult and creative for half an hour or an hour, and then I'm like, all right, I need a breather, and that's when I'll open up Twitter, or I'll open up my email inbox, which is not great. Like what happens is Twitter, I'll open it up for 2 seconds, be bored, and I'll shut it. Email, I'll open it up and I'll see a bunch of emails. A couple of them are important from people that I know I need to get back to, but I'm pretty good about like saying like, okay, I'll handle that later. But now I've seen it, so now it just planted a little seed that I know is just going to stick in there, and that adds up to 5 or 6 emails it just adds some mental weight, and I don't need that. Have you done solo retreats at all ever? Like strategic, like for business purposes, if you will?
I mean, what I have done is, I travel a lot for conferences, and what I have done is take extra time before or after, like a couple days, to just be by myself and just spend lots of time walking around or sitting in my hotel room, or so I have done that. I would like to do more of this
because it's like so social. It's a good way to decompress or decompress.
I'm trying to also just do this more in my daily life, or my weekly life. I work for myself. Like there's days where the best thing I could do for myself is just take 2 hours and just go on a really long walk. And so I've tried to do that more too. But I do think there's something about this idea of going to a cabin or something. People are joking in chat about using Zach Gilbert's Wisconsin cabin to do that. And I was even thinking there's these hacker houses and, people start these kind of hacker retreat centers or whatever. It's almost like we need the opposite now. We need here, I'll set up a place for you to go, and it's like there's no Wi-Fi.
I've done it a couple times. Never like Aaron with totally, bricking my phone. I've never done that.
Yeah.
But I can remember probably 3 or 4 times that I've gone. A couple times were just day trips, and a few of them were overnight, just solo, specifically for business planning purposes. And I haven't done it in at least 2 years, but I used to. I live in Connecticut. I live in coastal Connecticut, so I'll hop on Amtrak from here.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'll go from here to Boston and back, and so that's like a 3-hour train ride there, and each way, and it's beautiful too because it's through Connecticut and Rhode Island. The train is going over the water. It's really nice. And Amtrak is nice because it's like a plane, but you have so much extra leg room, and it also has Wi-Fi. So I treat it as I'm gonna get some creative work done, and it ends up being a regular work day, but I'm on a train.
Yeah.
But I have done that just for the purpose of getting out of my house and making me think about some big new business I want to start or whatever, or some big decision I need to make.
Yeah,
I feel like for me they've always been anticlimactic. I'll come back and be like, I thought about a lot of stuff. It's stuff that I've been thinking about anyway.
I
guess it's nice to get out of the routine of being in the house, but
I mean, getting out of routine has its own benefits. I do think that having a deliberate time where you're getting away from technology, where you're getting away from everything that is kind of in your brain and infecting you, to just give yourself some space, and again, to just be bored. Even you were joking in our Telegram chat, I couldn't sit on a log for 2 hours or whatever.
Incapable. Nope.
And even that, that's maybe to get out and just spend 30 minutes sitting on a log is not a bad practice, and then to eventually get yourself up. I think, yeah.
That's where travel comes in. It's just like this weekend, this is why I love travel, whether it's road trips or plane trips. This weekend we're heading up to New Hampshire again. Got a little hotel. We're going to do some hiking, see some leaves.
Yeah.
It's something we try to do every October. And, I'm going to drive like 4 hours, and we love it. Like we this is with the family and everything, but like it's this is one of those chances where it's like I'm going to be driving for 4 hours, just but it's, of course, it's like with the family, and it's with music and or podcasts playing. So it's not exactly like like a meditation, but it is a way to like force me away from day-to-day work. And then we like to just, we also like to do these, we travel a lot, but we sort of just live normally, but in other places for a few days, right? Like, we'll do a hike. We'll take the kids down to the pool in the hotel, but that only occupies like 2 or 3 hours in the day. And the rest of it is we're just sort of hanging out, whether it's in an Airbnb or somewhere. We're not like packing the day with back-to-back stuff, but it is a way to like break away. And yeah, I'll bring my laptop, but it's like I'm not going to use it all the time, and it's like it's just different enough to break away from the routine.
Yeah,
it's a good breather.
I think there is. Yeah, I think one of the things Emmett is asking in the chat is, is this kind of a luxury that you can only do when your business is doing well, or you have the margin and space to do it? And I think that's a fair question. I will say that this retreat that I went on that Sean Blanc organized in Colorado, that would have been 2017. It wasn't solo, but this retreat had a substantial impact on my life. And just getting out of my routine and creating space for reflection, for other people to help me think through stuff was like, and to be perfectly frank, like I was at a real low point at this moment. I'd been depressed financially. I was not doing great. It was like, for me to go on this trip was, it was, I didn't feel like I was going on this trip out of abundance, a place of abundance, that's for sure. And I found, now that's no guarantee that it's not a panacea, but there is something about, even if you're like don't have a lot of margin, to create some space for reflection to happen, I think is a good thing to do. For sure.
I completely agree with you. I've had the same experience with retreats like this, and yeah, they're not cheap, per person. So obviously, but it's also, I don't see it as like just a nice perk. Like you said, like there's definitely an ROI on that sort of investment. But looking back to the very early years of my career when I was just starting out, I do remember distinctly, like I became a freelancer in 2008. I left my job, and I think from like 2008, like for the first like 3 years or so, like I didn't leave my bedroom apartment. I just did some freelance web design work. I knew nobody in the industry. Nobody knew me. I just did quiet work, word of mouth, doing some client work, and I got by. But then I started going to local meetups. Yeah. In Connecticut, in like suburban Connecticut. Yeah. Which cost nothing to go to. And I started meeting other professional web designers who actually live around, like, holy shit, people do what I do and they live around here, and starting to meet people. And so that's for free. Anyone can do that. Yeah. And that was 15, 20 years ago. Like there's even way more, like co-working spaces were not even a thing back then. Yeah. And once you've done a meetup, you can also, you'll meet some people and you could grab 2 or 3 other people and say, hey, like, why don't we just all drive over here? My parents have a cabin.
let's just like spend the weekend in my parents' cabin. It'll be free. We can buy some groceries, and let's just like be super intentional about whatever reflection, having a hot seat session, just encouraging each other, processing. Like, I think that's also open to other folks as well.
And then the next step after that was like attending microconf.
Yeah.
You know, which usually requires a plane ticket and a hotel. So, you know, a couple $100 to $1,000 to go to just to be an attendee. But again, like that was instrumental because that's where I met most of my industry friends who we then started to buddy up and do these retreats.
Yeah.
And also just also just remote mastermind groups came out of that, you know?
Yeah.
So, and like, I always say this, like looking back on those years, first 3 or 4 years of my freelance career, not much interesting happened. I just did websites for some clients. And then year 4, year 5, I start meeting people in person. I start following the Mixergy podcast, the Rest of Us podcast. I start going to MicroConf. All of a sudden, interesting things are starting to happen.
Yeah.
And they don't just fall into my lap. It's inspiration. It's learning from what other people are doing. It's like, oh, that guy, 80, has the same exact web design skills as I have. And I'm just making client websites and he's making Woo themes. Like, oh, like we're literally the same age, same skill set.
Yep.
Like I didn't know he existed until I got to know him. And same thing with so many other people. And then I started working on like Restaurant Engine. And that was like the first SaaS that I was able to bootstrap and sell. And then people start following me because of that story. And then it's like one thing after another. And like none of that would have happened unless I left the house in the beginning.
Yes. Yeah. I just kind of looked through some photos here of like MicroConf and, like those moments of meeting other people, you can't put a value on that. It's like so key.
Yep.
I think that's a good place to leave it.
Yes, sir.
Another good one. I think we capped it pretty good. We kept things moving a bit better this time. That was good.
Yeah. That was good.
Thanks everyone for joining us in the chat. Again, Zach, Pascal, Emmett, Junta.
Crew.
There's all sorts of great folks in here. Josh Frank, good to see you again. Yeah, nice to see the group. Bo, I see you in there too. Keith, nice. Keith made it for the first time.
Thank you, folks.
And
thanks for folks listening. I know there's a lot of people out there who don't show up here in the live chat, but also if you have been listening, let us know.
Oh, dude,
like, DM us, send an email. Just let us know that like people are, because that's the thing about podcasting, especially relatively new shows like this one. It's silent out there. You never know who's tuning in. So hosts really want to hear from you. Yeah,
let me give a little shout out to this comment we got on Blue Sky from Alex Duggleby, or Duggleby? Duggleby, must be Duggleby. He had a great post where he actually clipped this. This is the ultimate love language for a podcaster.
I didn't see that one.
He used Overcast's clipping engine and clipped this one segment where we were talking about, whether there's going to be another generation of senior developers because all the junior level has just been cut off. So nice to have this feedback. Alex, I saw it, made my day. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you, folks.
All right, everyone. We'll see you later.
Later.